Hello, this is Didal. This is the silhouette of this character. This character has a younger sister, and Miss Joey is always after her. That's why in the latest series, she's even called the elder of the Joe family. This video's main character is Geese Howard's right-hand man, Billy Kane. He's a recurring character in Fatal Fury. Originally a factory worker, Geese noticed his fighting talent and helped his family, paying medical bills, sending his sibling to school, and giving him a house. This is why he views Geese as a father figure. I've already made a video on Geese's story, so you can watch it. In 2002, Billy is a member of KBC and is considered one of the top 3 strong characters. While he tends to struggle against other strong characters, he's an absolute powerhouse when facing weaker opponents. Now, let's take a look at Billy, who's strong against the weak and weak against the strong. When you play as Billy, the normal you'll use quite often is his far A. Its hitbox is average compared to other 2002 characters. It's decent, but its reach is longer than it appears, making it very useful. And as you can see, there's no hitbox at the tip of the staff. You can also cancel into Daebijan, also known as the Chigalryo kick. I'll explain the specs of the Daebijan kick later, but for now, just lightly hitting with the long-range light staff attack deals surprisingly high damage. You can cancel into Sungyongdo, but since confirming a hit is difficult, it's better to cancel into Daebijan. Because both are silence-type projectiles, even a small hitbox advantage can let your opponent win if they use a basic move from a distance. This is a close A that comes out by mistake when you meant to use far A. For reference, Billy's close A has the slowest startup out of his close normals. So for combos, you can just use other normals and save this for cutting off obvious jumps or deep hops. The hitbox isn't active at the staff's tip, but it still works somewhat as an anti-air. One drawback is that the proximity range is very short, so sometimes the far version comes out instead. This is Billy's crouching A, which both you and I used often. The graphics suggest it has a super long reach, making you think of a crazy long-range attack, right? It's true that other characters have a really long reach, but it's not as much as it looks. This isn't the bug. Billy's crouching a hitbox was actually designed like this. Even though it goes through the character, it does no damage. The reason is that the hitbox was made like this. If you keep using crouching A openly, your opponent can respond accordingly. When hitting the ball, Chi feels pain. What I mentioned earlier is just a drawback, but you can still poke and apply pressure just fine with crouching A using the glitch, as long as you do not use it too obviously or too often. To give you an exaggerated example, this is a normal move that can even create such ridiculous techniques. You get sucked toward the ball, bam! It may look like trash, but it's still a far B that still has its uses. If you look at the hitbox, you'll get a rough idea of where it can be used. Use it to shoot opponents who super jump in from a distance. If you tease them gently with crouching A, they'll often jump like this, so you can prepare in advance. Honestly, this is close B, a normal that makes you wonder whether it's even worth using. There are 2 reasons why I wonder if I even need to use it. Since it shares startup frames with close range C is better for single hits. The second reason is that if you're using B, crouching B is safer and more effective with the fastest startup for hitting low and dealing more damage. Close B is basically a normal that only chains into crouching B, but because you have to be so close for it to come out, you can easily miss your chance and get far B instead. So I think it's best to just use it for stylish combos. Crouching B is Billy's fastest normal. Crouching B is strong because it starts up fast and can be cancelled into a special even without chaining from another normal. Even if you attack with crouching B alone without cancelling, it still deals significant damage. After repeatedly using crouching B, follow up with the Sungyong Gundonghwa combo for big damage. Jugeo Nori can be cancelled, but after the second hit, one-hit kills are difficult, so you typically only use the first hit airstrike. Even beginners using Billy can use the Anja B repeat, and following with Daehuijin Chami also does good damage. Lastly, if you have enough meter, you can get big damage even with a simple combo like this. Anja C shares the same startup frames as Anja B. This normal attack has a fast startup and is mainly used up close with Anja B. Anja C's motion resembles an uppercut, so it seems useful as an anti-air. Technically, it has some depth, but it's weak as an anti-air against high jumps. The uppercut is fine, but it doesn't attack upward. Instead, it reaches just a little farther than crouching B. You have to choose this move without letting your opponent know, so decide for yourself whether to rush with crouching C or B. You can land the spinning kick even when crouching C hits from a distance. This method is good if it hits, and even if the opponent guards, it's very safe. If the opponent guards, you get pushed back more, making it easier to set up your next move. You can use it a few times as a real surprise attack, but since it's too slow, it's hard to rely on it, so you should use it at long range. The hitbox is so long, over 5 character lengths, that if you use it often, your opponent will see it coming and punish you. You can use it for delayed attacks, but it's risky due to its hitbox. Among Billy's basic moves, Close C is the best one to activate mode with. With 9 startup frames and 19 recovery frames, it's easier to activate mode than with crouching C. Let's quickly go over a few of Billy's practical mode combos. Billy gets even stronger with his mode tempo setup, making his gameplay very aggressive. If you get all 3 setup notifications, the game is basically over. This is Billy's Far D, a normal that's basically useless. Sometimes you'll even see a confused CPU Billy use this as an anti-air. But in this game, trying to use this as an anti-air against real players is just crazy. The startup is too slow, so it's not practical for people to use. You could dodge ground traps in style with good timing, but it's still tough. The activation has frames like close B or C, but it's a B that you basically never use. In terms of active frames, close D is slightly longer, but if you look at the hitbox, you can see that the attack only has an attack hitbox in the upper area. So even regular-sized characters can avoid it just by crouching. You should just play the game as if Billy doesn't have a standing D series at all. The only basic move that stays close to the ground is crouching D. It starts up a bit faster than Far D and has surprisingly long reach. Of the move's 2 parts, the first reaches just a little farther. Standing and using it is sometimes fine, but you can't cancel this move into a special. This is a jump A with a very fast startup frame. It shares startup frames with crouching B, but its weak hitbox means you must use it carefully. So, when you attempt a forward jump and your jump overlaps with your opponent's, you need to use it immediately. In that case, it's pretty much a pointless fight, and I think this part comes down to instinct. Vertical jump A works well with crouching A, and it's great for harassing opponents you want to approach. The hitbox itself is so bad that even Kyokusanagi would say it's trash, but it comes out quickly. If timed well, you can use it to poke and control your opponent during dash pressure or after image jumps. Even if it doesn't do much damage, getting hit by it can subtly affect your mindset. If you grab too obviously, you might get counter hit due to the poor hitbox. This is Jump B, which has the same startup frames as Jump A. It has a hitbox that's good enough to use for rushdown too, but it's best to use it in the way I recommended. His normals are already built around long-range play. If you just run away by jumping, your opponents will love it. This Jump C has long reach and, like other jump normals, can really annoy your opponent. You can really piss off your opponent by poking, backing away, and whittling them down. But since it's still an attack using the staff, the hitbox is still garbage. For Billy, timing is always more important than hitbox strength. Billy's vertical jump C is a really good basic move, especially for catching opponents who try to get behind him when he's bouncing up and down vertically. Because the attack hitbox covers behind, you don't need to worry if your opponent gets behind you. Since the heel's charm is rewarding, let's jump in with a relaxed mindset. This is a rushdown focused jump D. The hitbox's attack range has been made extremely long horizontally. So even if you just jump roughly and shoot carelessly, it can still reach all the way here. Using the highly effective jumping attack, the hit detection is really excellent. Of course, the startup and recovery are a bit slow, but the reason it's good for pressure is that when the opponent guards, the stun is surprisingly long. So you can keep up the pressure with advantageous frames. You can see that the difference in recovery is really huge. A hitbox attack judgment has been created, so when you walk around with this, its performance is so overwhelming that you can just walk around using it. When used alone, it's a crazy command normal that's safe even on block. Often you're told to poke and defend safely with this move. The hitbox is insanely good. It's really like he's playing the game all by himself. Next is a command normal called high kick. The move itself still has decent priority, but it's so slow that it's really easy to get blocked, and it's a special move your opponent will want to punish. Billy's head is going to get smashed. People often use it by mistake while trying to poke. If this happens, Billy will be the one getting wrecked in an instant. It's not used often, but this spinning staff move will occasionally just barely connect. If Billy did this intentionally, he either predicted the culprit's actions or fully read their moves. From the front, he usually tops out at 7 hits. If this connects, it can go over 10 hits. If you go for high kick, you really want it to work, but Billy only has a hurt box there. He has no attack hitbox behind him. If you misjudge, you'll get hit in the back of the head like this. It's a move called middle strike, and it has incredible reach. It doesn't reach the end, but it's much faster than most other characters' moves. Using it from a range where the opponent's left side specials can't hit is effective. This is Billy's anti-air move called Sparrow Drop. It's hard to use on reaction since it starts slower than expected, but its strong priority can knock down nearly any airborne opponent. However, while it's good against opponents who are far away, it can miss those who are up close, and it's also vulnerable to opponents who quickly short hop over you from an awkward range. It's also a good idea to use the move a few times on the ground to bait out jumps from your opponent. This is Gangus Up Begangdong, and it's basically only useful in combos. The startup and follow-up situation change depending on whether you use B or D. B activates very quickly and can even connect from crouching B, so there's no awkwardness. However, the downside is that it can't go into the corner loop. To do the corner loop, you have to use D, but it won't connect from crouching B. Typically, after a jump in and crouching C, you confirm the hit, use the strong version, and then go into the corner loop. The damage is too high for a combo that uses D only once. Next is the counter move. The light version is anti-air, the strong version targets the ground. Using this move occasionally for mind games can intimidate your opponent. If you use the strong version, it hits quite a lot, and this is actually pretty sweet. Sometimes you land it while both of you fight for mobility, and if they've all gone off, you can cancel moves and hit harder. When the whole body is shaking with active counter frames, getting hit by a strike will trigger it. You might think grabbing would work if hitting it doesn't, but a normal grab won't come out at all. But you can still get caught by a command grab. See you in the next video. But you just need to wait until the counter move ends. When it's over, he taunts like this, and from then on, Billy takes damage. People who try to get by with lazy moves in the game usually fall for this.